And we are live. Hello everybody, and welcome to Inside Roleplay with special guest Flame Zombie. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Not appreciating this weather for one, but but that's the South for you. Other than that, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Exhausted, happy to have a new schedule. Excited to actually get into some games going forward.
Games coming. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Alright.
At least in person, if not streamed.
I'm shaking off the rust. I didn't do anything for like 2 months or something.
Same. Yeah, I feel like we all kind of fell off the horse for a while.
All right, yeah. I'm just like looking at chat and being like, wait, why is this not working? So it's a bunch of on the fly. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, we didn't plan this at all. Zonalar just said, hey, can you do a live stream now? And I was like, I guess. Put clothes on.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like, yeah, I put the Shadowrun logo into the thumbnail, but it's not about the Shadowrun logo. It's really just about, why would you? Why? Like, I'm blaming you specifically for the Pathfinder campaign that fell apart. Just crumbling before our eyes, you know? It's the one thing of like, yes, empires rise and fall, but time doesn't give a shit. It just moves on, slowly falling apart with every week that goes by, that nobody has the time and the schedule to show up at the exact same time. And, you know, this is classic role-playing of, hey guys, we are in 3 different continents, let's play a game together. Yeah, good luck.
That's a big thing. But, you know, also the other thing is just when I was playing with shitty role players with no responsibility and nothing going on in their lives, it wasn't worth it. Could I play 4 and 5 games a week? Yeah, and maybe one of them was any good. So it's just when you start to bring yourself to higher standards and say, right, I'm only going to play with these guys and we're only going to play a good session when I actually have the time to do it, and I'm not trying to cram a session into the 2 hours between when I wake up and have to go to work, or, you know, expecting you, like I said, I was like, I could play games at like 1, 2 in the morning my time when I get home from work. I stay up late, but again, this with all the time zone differences, it just hasn't really made sense. And you know, blame the economy too for I would love if I only had to work one. Right, if I only had to work one job and I could just sit on my ass and play RPGs all day, I would love that. But
or you could be one of those paid GMs, you know, to make
right
role-playing economic by... Well, I've looked at... I'm just gonna veer into this side tangent because it's allowed. It's my show. I do whatever I wish to. We call it a sidebar. You know, you go to something else, talk about it for 5 minutes, and then go back to the actual topic. They released the council, you know, the council for WotC, and I forget what they're technically called. Do you know? Is the council supposed to be for like, oh, fans of D&D to ask questions on how to roleplay, or is the council to determine what books they should release, or, you know, oh, this is what the community wants as a product?
That's an excellent question. Let me tell you, when I play tested for Wizards of the Coast, I often tell people I play tested for 4 different Magic the Gathering sets, and then was briefly consulted on, hey, should we make the D&D and Wizards of the Coast universe the same thing? How would you feel about that? They, not just me, but I can think of 2 or 3 occasions where they actually took the playtesters' advice. It felt like we were there so they could say, yeah, we playtested the game.
It's so, I mean, I guess we call this a checkbox, right? You have a checkbox on the spreadsheet, and it needs to be ticked. If it's not ticked, then the boss will ask questions. The kind of situation.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. Um, hey, G Funk Rescue Crew, nice to see you.
Very, very nice to see people here. Good
Yeah,
evening to all my clever and handsome role players.
yeah.
And Elf
Uh,
Hunter.
But yeah, it definitely feels like there's a lot of box ticking exercises. Like the whole universe is beyond thing, which used to be only a magic problem, but now they're thinking about doing it with Dungeons and Dragons. It felt like what's doing well right now? Oh, isekais are doing well. Oh, Fortnite's doing well. Well, what makes those things good? Oh, they're bringing their peanut butter into my jelly sandwich. All right, then all we need to do is bring the outside thing into this thing with no regard for long-term success, for if you're alienating your current player base, for who, uh
Well,
like with
what's
yeah,
isekai? Isekai. I mean, I'm answering the question, right? It's
it's rhetorical. Yeah.
rhetorical. Isekai is the ultimate like escapism fantasy. I want to escape this world. I'm dead. But now you're reincarnated. Different stats, different environments, different situation, but you're still yourself because you can't change who you are. Except now that you have a restart, a fresh start, you can. Like nobody knows your circumstances. You're completely separated from your old life, and you can make a conscious choice. Do you drag your old circumstances into this new life, or do you make a change? And watching that part of character progression is what's so addictive about isekai. Even if the anime is absolute horrible garbage trash, the character storytelling part of it is compelling because everyone can identify with it. I don't know about women. I don't know if they, feel a desire for change or not. But, young men can identify with this.
Right. I mean, it's the shonen subgenre, the young adult. That's the target audience. So, but
Yeah. Oh, no. But I hate what men are watching these days. It's fucking disgusting. Men watching people getting a fresh start and, redemption, forgiveness, trying again. Oh, how horrible. Like, literal trash all to me. Can you believe it?
yeah. And then you'll get an article in a few months that's going, why are men not pursuing me anymore? I
Why are
don't
men not
understand.
marrying
I
me?
can't remember the last time I've been hit on at the bar.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that
a
was an.
real mystery out there. It's a but yeah.
Absolutely.
Certainly it felt like a box ticking exercise. It's the same thing. The good friend that recently added Morrow of their Magic the Gathering. Of like, hey, can you explain why WotC and Hasbro keep donating to the same autism foundation, which doesn't actually do anything, right? They're like actively donating um to some, I'll leave it at some sketchy sources, right? And it's all very performative so that they can say, right, we've got this LGBT member on the board. We've got this. All right, what else do we need? We need somebody with autism on the board. All right, okay. What else? Do we have an environmentalist? Yep. Okay, check that box. And then they can get multinational loans for this box taking exercise because these huge banks that have so many companies under them, if they even care that much, they don't actually have the time to investigate, like, are they actually doing what they say they're doing?
Yeah. Jesus. It's a.
Very
Well, I
Shadowrun.
don't have
It's very.
much. I don't have much industry insight, right? Like you got some of it, but it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
some.
you were like a literal manager inside the companies.
No,
More like,
I
hey,
wasn't.
can you do some playtesting for us on the
Right.
side?
But I will say that of those higher ups, I mean, like I met Morrow once, and he was there for maybe 5 minutes of a 3 hour, 4 hour long play test. Like they
How does it
run
even
by,
look like? Like walks in,
he's
says hello, eats a bagel, walks out.
He walks by each table and goes like, "Hey, what cards do you think are cool here, man? Like, do you like the artwork on this? Do you like the templating on this? Oh, that's cool, man. All right, cool. See ya."
So
And then he moves
it's a
on to the
vibe
next
check. It's
table.
literally okay. Vibe
Yeah,
check.
yeah, yep,
Cool or lame.
yep.
You
And
might as well give a
you're
child candy and see if they like it.
right. It felt like an advertising thing, basically, where it was every 90% of the people there were just hyped that they got to play stuff before it released.
All right.
Like that
Yeah.
was there
So
was it was very
it's
much on the topic of toxic positivity. It was wow, it's cool, yeah,
what would you
and
even
that
call
was
this?
it.
Like superfan onboarding? When you release a
Yeah,
new
yeah,
product, you want your superfans to be behind you
right.
because they are the ones that give out good vibes. So the normie, average Joe 9 to 5 worker
Mm,
is like, well, my friend plays Magic and he says it's okay,
yeah.
so I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. Well, that and the you're getting mixed signals because you did have to sign an NDA and they have sued people before for sneaking out cards and sneaking out things like breaking NDA in egregious ways. So very much weird. They like want to at least preserve the appearance that it is very hush hush and
Oh,
they're
you're
actually
not
trying to work
even.
on stuff,
It's a
but
marketing stunt, except the NDA makes it not a marketing stunt anymore.
yeah, a little bit. It's kind of odd.
Well, I mean, not to shit on WotC specifically. They do
Right. They're
deserve
not the only
it.
ones that do it.
But it's a classic thing of, okay, what's your vision as the company? Well, the vision is not creating a cool product anymore. The vision is how do we satisfy Hasbro, our corporate
Mm,
overlords that pay all of our what's it called? That pay all of our payments, the pay slips, because somebody
yeah,
is
yeah.
holding the money back. And now
Mhm.
that you're no longer in the competitive market, you're just okay. Is Hasbro happy? Yeah, I think they still are happy, right? Because Watts is bringing in lots of cash for them, and are board games like are Hasbro even competitive in board games anymore? Like everybody's buying whatever fucking Kickstarter board game nowadays to play from some
Well,
like indie studio.
and whenever Hasbro's board is meeting, one of the consistent complaints they have are that well, Dungeons and Dragons merch brings you quite a bit of money. Uh, you have a lot of people that will see the universes beyond, and yeah, the numbers are good. They'll buy the cool new Fallout set, but that's because they're a Fallout fan. It's not because they're a Magic the Gathering
There
fan.
was a
So
Fallout TV
always,
show.
so
Normies
always,
watched that and was like, haha, funny, coconut fell on his head.
mhm,
You can watch that and
right.
nobody's gonna be offended by it.
The consistent problem that at least Morrow was telling us was there's no new player retention. You can't get people to buy the new set and then buy the next set or the set after that because the guys that are Fallout fans, well, you've
They
released a
got
Final Fantasy set right after it. I
yeah,
don't care. I don't care about Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
I'm
I
a
care about
Fallout fan, so you
Whereas if you
yeah.
build a community of people that care about Dungeons and Dragons, that care about Magic the Gathering, they will continue purchasing Magic the Gathering sets. That's
They
why I think
care
they
about
lost
what's it called? Shadow Sun? I forget.
Dark Sun.
Dark Sun. They care about the
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms. They
Mhm.
care about those. They care about the lore. They care about Drizzt, the Dark
And
Elf, and all of
and
that.
I am interested to see if what Bank of America's audit on them from a couple of years ago turns out to be true, which is that they are cashing in on short-term gains but losing a lot of long-term goodwill. Because a lot of people like myself have just I haven't played Magic the Gathering in years. I haven't played an actual Dungeons and Dragons in years. Um, I stopped playing with 5e. I played 4 or 5 games of it, and even before the whole 4D thing, I was like, something's not right here. This game has a lot of problems. It's not for me. It's not for me, and their response to my complaints and others was basically, well, it's not for you. If you don't like it, then don't buy it. And that is an
I mean,
insane,
that was what
you
year
know.
was this? 2012 you're talking about? Like 2014?
No, I'm talking about like 2019, 2020, like right around COVID. That's when I was a
Right. Yeah.
playtester.
So it is the height. Oh, you're talking about Magic the Gathering, not D&D?
Both, because they were
Yeah.
asking about a
Right.
lot of the crossover, right? They're asking like, hey, if we did because they were talking a lot about how do we get D&D players to buy more product, and that was when they had the whole Dungeons and Dragons sets for Magic the Gathering coming out. The early Universes Beyond stuff, where we were kind of told, yeah, there's going to be crossover, but it's just going to be crossover from Wizards of the Coast properties from one to the next. And then the goalpost got moved to, okay, well, it's going to be more than that, but it's never going to be standard legal, to, okay, well, yeah, it's going to be standard legal. And in fact, it's going to be over half of the property.
Right.
So the,
And also, like,
yeah,
okay, how do we get more D&D fans into buying more product,
yeah,
consume more product? So it
yeah.
stands to reason that, okay, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons movie. A Dungeons and Dragons, what, TV show? I don't think they have released like one shots for like other TV shows, those compilation, what's it
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
I don't know if it was Next Level or another one, where one episode is like a different video game or different scenario. One of them was Dungeons
Mm,
and Dragons, and I watched that one. It was super awesome, including like, oh, quirky characters quipping back and forth, but they portrayed the world as like serious, not serious because it was quite like, spiky terrain, storm weather outside, like super dark wizards of Fey hunting down the adventurers and stuff. But it was serious in the sense of like the characters are believably fearing for their life, but
hmm.
adversing against it, and super
Right.
cool effects and all of that. So it's like, okay, let's make this, the big thing.
And what's curious is that no one has yet tried to sell something, to sell the role play, to sell what people tend to find enjoyment out from what we find. People enjoy, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
When people go to a horror movie, the fun is in being scared. Fun is not an intrinsic quality of going to the movies. It differs based on genre. It differs based on what the actual activity is. The fun in a role playing game is there some very surface level fun the first time, wow, 20, the goblin's head exploded, but that second part's the important part, right? Not the fact that you rolled the 20. Rolling a 1 in 20 chance is not an intrinsically fun thing. It's just whatever. It's statistics, right? Nobody's having very few people, I should say, are having a blast in statistics class, right? And I wish there was more of a focus on, okay, how do we get people to have more of those high intensity moments? And we could talk a little bit about Mike Merles on Twitter saying, well, the reason there's a bunch of rules for combat, but there's not rules for social interactions, is because people just know how to do that thing. And I'm like, no, they don't. They don't. You're wrong, right? Like, you could, and the rules for it don't need to be mechanical rules. They need to be framework rules. Rules like, don't be on your phone during the game. Don't be, set up
yes.
a session 0 for people. When you have the Dungeon Master's Guide, I don't need a huge list of traps and stuff like that. Well, maybe I do, but
But a session
you know,
zero goes against the corporate mandate of getting new people in. And
right.
and that's the thing you've been talking about, they get people to buy the Fallout sets, but then the Final Fantasy set comes out and those people are not rebuying. The
Right.
player retention of, okay, the company focuses on getting people in because that's a big number. It looks attractive. It's immediate change, right? Like immediate reward for the
Mhm.
company. And you got the spreadsheet and you're like, I did my job. But the job that's not appreciated is the one that simmers underneath of, are they sticking around for the next 6 months
Right.
to buy your monthly product? And you sit there like, well, does it really matter? Like, you're not gonna feel a difference if he's gonna show up again. It's like a gym membership, you know. You just sign them up for 2 years and forget about them.
Well, and they
But
had a really
yeah, go ahead.
convenient excuse when COVID happened, which where all of a sudden the narrative shifted to it's not us or our product that's bad at player retention. People can't show up to the game stores because
Every
they're all
co-
shut down from COVID. There's nothing we could do about it.
every company had the same excuse too.
Yeah, oh no, it's not our fault. It's oh man, and then you could just brush it off to oh, it's the shutdowns. Did that hurt them? Yes, yes, that hurt them.
But not
But
WotC.
in
It hurt Magic the Gathering, but not WotC, because they literally released like, oh, here's some free features for our D&D Next website and for
Yep.
Roll20 to
Yep.
onboard all the people that have way too much free time, that are just
And
learning Zoom, and realize, oh, we can play Dungeons and Dragons together online.
yep, and plenty of stores called them out that hey, you're cannibalizing your own sales when this is all over. And at the places that never did shut down, a lot of these people are thinking, well, I'll try the online thing. I'm not gonna go into the store anymore. Well, hang on. If you are having problems with people buying new product, well, now I wouldn't even have an incentive to buy a Magic the Gathering product because I would have to drive an hour to go to the nearest shop to play any of the formats, right?
Yeah.
If I was going to play Dungeons and Dragons, as it is now, I'm not going to a shop to do that, and for that reason, they've lost a lot of accounts in the uh, industrial is not the word, but in the on the corporate level, right? On the big picture, have they gotten more individuals buying like direct from online distributors? Yeah, absolutely. But that cutting out of the middleman has lost a lot of goodwill. Lots of stores have just after COVID have just said, "Well, we're just not running events anymore," right? If they're
Are,
if
are
they're gonna
stores
undercut us, then
are stores going down the road of comic book stores?
they are being forced to diversify, in my experience. So in my town, Stillwater is a college town. It's about 50,000 people. Before COVID, we had 3 game shops. Now we have 1. And they have not really diversified, but they're the only ones in town, and they're the only ones in the service area of 100,000 people. So they don't really have an incentive. Where else are you going to go, right?
So people are like, well, I can go to this one, or I drive 20 miles. Or
Yeah,
is it more like I
exactly.
drive 100 miles? I know everything is
Six in
bigger.
in between. It's
Everything
about
is.
60.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
about 60, 70 miles to the
America
big
is a big
cities.
place. It's a big place. You got
Yeah.
a town, then you got nothing else for a long
It's a
while.
straight line. Yep. It's yeah. You can either go east to Tulsa or south to Oklahoma
Yeah.
City, and it's about an
You
hour
leave
drive
the
either way.
city and suddenly you're back in like a 50s western where you see
Yeah,
like no
pretty
car
much. Yeah.
over the whole horizon.
Yeah. There's
Like
so many unincorporated
there's a barn,
territories.
and if you squint, you can believe it's an old timey barn. You know, like
Oh yeah. I mean, there's tons of barns that
I guess
that had a
only
leak
the
in their.
tractors are ruining the whole scenery there.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you look at a lot of the old barns, it's stuff that's been up since 100 years old at least, because they're not in the way enough, and they'd be such a pain to dismantle that yeah, they're still sitting there just dilapidated.
Oh, literally. Oh no. Oh, that's horrible. It's like not even.
Well, it's like you have a roof failure one year and it rots all your hay, and you're like, man, am I gonna drag all the hay out of here, clean out the barn,
Ain't
fix
nobody
the
got time
roof,
for
fix.
that. You
No,
were
at
already
that point I'll
working all
just
year.
build a new barn and
Oh, I got so much
no.
space. I can literally, like walk for 2 miles and then I don't have to look at it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Right. um, but yeah, in the big cities, what's been happening is places have either shut down entirely. Stormbrew Games in Norman had that tragic event, and they were having 40 or 50 people on a Friday Night Magic. They were having so many people, they were considering having to turn people away because they did not physically have room for how well their tournaments were doing. shut down overnight pretty much, over a few issues, just because the margins were so slim. It only took like 1 or 2 months of bad business. That's it. And
Which is
then
also like speaks about both like short-sightedness of store owners of, well, if you know that the margins are this razor thin, but you think there will never be a bad event happening to you like ever, you are just praying, like, right, like
yeah. Well,
it's
and two, it's about, Storm. He's doing fine now, as far as I know. I haven't kept in touch with him too much, but he's doing fine because he did probably the smart business decision and said, "I'm not going to pump my own finances into here. I'm going to cut my losses and shut the store down." Whereas there's a lot of places that have said, yes, I'm taking a loss, but I've got the personal funds. I can keep pumping money into this and keep
right.
it afloat. And that's dangerous to
I
do.
will be like the
Yeah.
last man standing and collect
Yeah.
everything when the storm
Yeah.
is over.
And that's very dangerous. But
It's a
other
gamble.
stores that have stayed in business from it, uh, like my friends that own Got Games over in Del City, Oklahoma, check them out. They pretty much moved entirely away from Magic the Gathering. They have a big selection of Pokemon, big selection of Yu-Gi-Oh, big selection of video games, because video games, of course, exploded over COVID. And they basically said, "Oh, with all the nonsense that WotC's doing, we're just not going to go through their distribution anymore if that's the way they want to play the game." Um,
Like the
so,
physical video games still get sold over.
oh my
Like
gosh,
I
bud.
haven't walked
Yeah.
into a game store in years, you know.
So this cartridge of Pokemon Leaf Green, uh, what I paid for $30 when I was a kid, which was my whole allowance for a while, now goes for about $300 on eBay. So this,
Do you want to buy a, you know, a bit of childhood back? Only
yeah,
$300.
exactly. And
Holy shit! We are in the
and
Matrix, guys. You know the steak is so juicy.
yeah, and guess what? If you buy that, you never have to give Nintendo a cent. You're never worried about downloading a ROM without a VPN and then getting a cease and desist through your internet service provider because Nintendo has decided, no. One, you can't buy any of our old games, but two, if you try to play any of our old games, we're not going to let you either. So there's been a huge market for, this last year, we've seen something really odd, which is that the sales of physical media have gone up for the first time in a decade. DVD, Blu-ray, all that, they've been
Oh
steadily
wow!
declining for a decade
Yeah,
because, well, everything's download now. But
also
there have been
DVDs look
enough.
like shit. Like holy, I can't.
Well, they look like shit when they're on a stretched aspect ratio and the codec is really bad. Not Techmoan, but Technology Connections has a great video on that. On
Okay, okay.
new DVDs look worse than old DVDs because they're just pumped out of some factory with nobody is actually properly editing them for 4:3 aspect
Right,
ratio or
like
for modern
I guess you
aspect
can't even
ratios.
afford a guy to do anything. It's just like
Right. It's yeah. Um,
sell
but
product, slim margins, pump out DVDs.
so many people have been saying, "No, I'm tired of listening to music on Spotify." And then I blink, and the next month it's gone. It's just the whole artist and the whole category is just deleted because either the artist or the publishing company or whatever decided, we don't like Spotify anymore. People have gotten tired of it, and they've said, if I buy a CD, I have the CD. You cannot take that away from me, short of stealing. Like,
To talk about Shadowrun, I
mhm.
like curate a list of songs. They're mostly like 1 hour playlists on YouTube of like awesome cyberpunk style music that I can bop to while I roleplay Shadowrun with my friends at the local table. And I have like my little boombox that I set up. I got it here. It's like old and disgusting, full of crime, but it's fine because it makes music.
Nice.
That's all I need.
Yeah. It's
Makes
exactly what
music
you
for
need
10
for
years.
Shadowrun.
It will make music for another 10 years if I'm lucky. Even though the connector is the old, boring one, not the round, new USB one. But it's fine, it works. It works, and I can get a new cable for $2, so it's fine.
Right.
And I can also play the music when I go into Chummer and look at my data sheets of all the things I've collected for my characters so far and the events that have happened and karma that I've collected. I play the music to like get into the Shadowrun mode, like get out of like, oh, I don't want to do homework, but it helps. It helps to like figure out, okay, wait, how does my character work? Let's look at the Chummer,
Right.
let's look at the music. And one artist I really liked was some Russian guy that did some real cool, like industrial cyberpunk music that I really liked. And it was gone. And I'm like,
Yep.
what was his name? What was the title of the video? I didn't remember. And now it's gone. It's gone forever. I can never look back.
Well, you
And
know,
I miss it. I
like a
remember.
hallmark of the cyberpunk genre, Blade Runner, you know, in the newer the Blade Runner sequel, they have that whole scene where they're going through the archives and they're like, yeah, pretty much all the digital data was destroyed. We only have old microfilm and physical records still. And I thought of that the other day because I literally took it to, oh yeah, I need to write down what all of these playlists and things that I like are physically so that when I go to my favorites playlist and it just says 25 unavailable videos are hidden and it won't show me because YouTube used to show you, oh, this video is no longer available to copyright, but you would know what it was. It's gotten even more dystopian.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where it'll just tell you, we've hidden them. You can't see them unless you want to get like an archive retrieval link, but you're not allowed to even know what we've hidden. Like the information itself they're attempting to destroy. And a lot of it's Japanese artists or overseas artists that
Oh,
they're
like
like,
copyright
well,
issues for overseas
yeah, we have
stuff
copyright
because,
issues. We want you
yeah.
to buy the physical thing. And it's like, then give me the fucking US distribution. I would love to purchase it, but you won't let me. That's the true dystopia, right?
Yeah.
It's both, it's illegal to have it. We want you to have it, but we're so stupid, we're not going to give you the channel to have it. It's the stupid dystopia is way worse than the intentionally malicious one.
When you watch my intro on this live stream, I always play like some bopping music to, you know, warm myself up, get into the mood, like let people collect. And this one song that I put on there is called Manual Drive 1991. 4 minutes, like progressive house electro music. And it's by an artist called Dusk Q. And he releases his stuff on cassette tapes and CDs so people can play his music on their old PlayStation 2s at home or in their cassette player to really allow you this like retro feeling of like playing video games and listening to music. And it's all of that. It's all of that. And I love it. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And he actually sells his own physical media. So I want to give him, like, I'm just like giving him a shout out. Check him out. Dusk Q. It's in the posting how it's written in the chat channel. I just love his stuff a lot. You know, some of it is like a bit like weeb anime, but the music is awesome.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, we have some people finally here. So when we talk about Shadowrun, people are not asking the same questions over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. We got G-Funk. I've been collecting VHS after my father-in-law gave me an old player and it rules. I just found a Lethal Weapon box set at a thrift store.
Nice.
I haven't watched that one. I've been watching some of the old movies. Let me tell you which ones I've watched, and you know, I don't have time for thrift stores and finding them all, so I'm using the power of the internet and free will to watch movies. Free will is pretty awesome, guys. You can have yours too for $20.
Believe it or not. Um,
Training Day. I watched Training Day from 2001, End of Watch from
nice.
2012. I'm so into cop movies right now. They're amazing. And they're beautiful for like Shadowrun settings too, because
Yeah.
have you watched those specifically?
At Training Day, it's been a long time. I wouldn't be able to tell you much about it, but Lethal Weapon, yeah, I mean Lethal Weapon's great.
All right, yeah, Lethal Weapon. That's why I said like because I've watched the old RoboCop and Commando. Yes, I got through
Oh,
Commando,
dude.
and
I'm
the
glad you
first, yeah,
watched Commando on my recommendation.
yes.
That's one of my favorite Arnold movies.
Oh, it's just fun. This is really just a fun movie where he literally kidnaps a woman. She's like, "What the fuck, man?"
Uh,
Like, yeah, they're trying to kill me. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, you're silly white car. You ripped with a fucking seat out. Like, what's going on?
she's such a good side character. Oh my god. And like as silly as it is, there are still nods to the logic of it where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, obviously I'm going to stand out like a fucking sore thumb being Arnold Schwarzenegger in a convertible. I'm gonna have to rip this seat out so my head's not a mile above the windowsill.
Yeah, it's awesome. Also, like this thing, this relic of the past, a mall where people go and gather to buy items
See,
and
you
peruse.
say that, and that's such an interesting thing because our malls are always packed. In the southern US, the mall
Oh,
has not yet died. Like, we are
ooh,
always 15, 20 years behind the cultural curve, for better and worse, right? And, we're getting new stuff in the mall constantly. We still have a lot, when I was a kid, it was pretty much it would be insane to see a store in the mall going out of business. You always see empty stores in the mall now,
oh,
but it's always full. Like my wife and I went on last week on Memorial Day. Parking lot was packed, and yeah, we've even still got arcades in the malls.
actually, have you? How much Shadowrun have you played?
Let's see. So I played a few the first few sessions I played fittingly when I was living in Seattle. A guy introduced it to me at a shop. And he was super passionate about it. He was running through all of the Shadowrun lore and showed me and yeah, thankfully showed me, yeah, this game is basically unplayable without Chummer. And that's where I got my start. And then when I was in college, I played two campaigns that both fizzled out. One for Shadowrun reasons, one for just scheduling reasons. Um, so I haven't played a ton, but I played enough to get a grasp on it. Fifth edition, that is.
All right, all right. But did you ever go into a mall in Shadowrun?
Into a mall. I'm trying to think.
Because we talk
Maybe.
Shadowrun, I'm thinking the retro future, right? But it's fifth edition, so it's like we have Wi-Fi now, and we
Yeah,
have the concept of mobile phones. But did
because my
we bring in the mall into the setting at all?
Yeah, because my introduction was with fifth edition, it's always just been future, not retro future, right? Because
Right.
the whole
The tech is not clunky anymore.
yeah, that was all they had a splat book for all of those rules if you wanted to do the like 2050s, like 20 years ago when
Right.
everything was by wire. Um, so
Basically the
yeah.
cooler version that we never played, but this is always like, oh, it's so cool, but I'm literally not running a session for that because nobody can be bothered to make set up a new character for a different era.
Right, right. Um, no, it always felt and it's interesting how much the Decker and Rigger changed the setting, right? Even in the modern day, right? Look at how much wireless electronic warfare has affected the modern battlefield in insane ways, right? Um, so that little what might look like one or 1 or 2 pages out of
Yeah.
a 500-page book changes a lot. When you start having access to wireless technology, it's a huge change in the way things are
It's
done.
it's a domino effect of okay, we
Hmm.
have Wi-Fi now, to okay, the hacker can now blind the enemy soldier because he has like Wi-Fi activated on one of his gear, and once it's
Hmm.
broken in, and you have access to the core, whatever that is. I'm I I'm not good with the jargon itself, but once you have control over the core, you have a window where you can just mess about with just about anything. Turn off
Hmm.
his eyes, or make his grenade explode, whatever.
Yep.
But the thing
Disconnect his wireless trigger.
and the thing that always happens at our German tables is, but the game master also knows this, and the super clever players, they all know this. The only guy who doesn't know is the bright-eyed new player that still has the size for roleplay and comes up with all of these cool ideas like, oh,
Right.
wouldn't it be cool if I just like did this? And then they try to do it and they're like, oh yeah, well, I have an ability that blocks
Yeah.
that, or well, he doesn't use Wi-Fi for his grenades because he doesn't want them to be hacked. So they are
Right.
old-fashioned.
It's all dumbfire,
Yeah.
right? Like that's a cool response. Like it reminds me of Togasaw from Ghost in the Shell, who the whole series they're like, man, why don't you get some upgrades, man? You're a Gen 1, like you only have some slight upgrades here and there. You're really falling behind until Bato gets his eyes hacked. He starts getting all these hallucinations. He starts mugging the convenience store thinking there's a terrorist attack. And he goes, I mean, I've just got a revolver. I've got an old revolver from the 90s. Like, it just works. Unless you physically take it from me, it goes bang every time I pull the trigger.
Bullet in body does do wonders.
And that's I made a whole video about that that I'd like to redo because YouTube doesn't recommend videos on guns to anybody, so you have to be a little creative with thumbnails and titles. But on when the worse option is sometimes better, right? You look at revolvers, and if you look at all these power gaming guides, they're like, why would you ever pick a revolver unless you just thought it was cool? And it's like, well, if you have ever had the misfortune of having a decker just turning on your wireless trigger and emptying your magazine wherever it happens to be pointing, you're like, oh, that revolver sounds kind of nice right about now.
Oh yeah. And it's one of those things like my point was more about this like overload of information that Shadowrun has of here are all
Yeah.
of the options, but
Yeah,
because the options exist, it means they all influence the verisimilitude of the world.
right.
Whether somebody walks around with like he looks like a normal guy, but actually his eyes are all cyberware with different lenses, infrared, and all of that kind of stuff. So he can just walk through the dark if he wants to, because he doesn't incur any penalties. It was to the
Right.
point where my main character, it's like the first one I created, the one that I always come back to, because he's easy to play and he's a likable character, and I have a gimmick. He's called Stumpfzahn. He's an orc. He just has like one arm replaced with a cyber arm with a shotgun inside. So that's my main gimmick, I bust doors, I shoot my shotgun, and I become Mega Man, like blast people. And my tusks are not real because they've been punched out, one too many times. So they are little grenades that I pull out. And one of them is a small frag grenade. And the other one is a small, like, noise sensor grenade, flash
Oh,
grenade.
it's awesome.
Yes, so technically everybody gets like immediate -4 penalties. Except you can just buy glasses for like $50 that counteracts
Yeah.
all of the noise overload immediately,
Yeah.
and they get a -2 instead, and they usually have like something else that makes it a -1. And now they just get a -1 to their dice roll. Meanwhile, my friend forgot to buy the hardware and he's on the ground, like unable to do anything for the whole
Right,
round.
because you just threw a flashbang in
Yeah.
there, and he's going, "Fuck! I
Oh my
didn't think
god.
about
Yeah.
that."
And
Right,
I
and
sat there and I was like, this was supposed to be the cool moment where I get one up over the enemy. It's like,
right,
well, actually, literally doesn't do anything
and
and just
I
falls
feel
flat.
like the answer is almost always the GM's screwing up. Okay, think about that. If everyone does a thing, the world reacts to it very quickly. If everyone
Yeah.
is just throwing on glasses to, have all of these sensory advantages, all these other advantages, what does the world look like? Well, people are going to start shooting paintballs at you. Look at the sensor stuff in Hong Kong that was going on. People are just taking spray cans and spraying over cameras and paintballing stuff. Like dye
Oh.
packs, dye packs. Even in the modern day, you open up a bag, sprays dye, big bright blue dye in your face that doesn't wash off. I'm just thinking about security measures like that, where it's like, yeah, if you had them implanted into your eyes, fine, you blink and you're all good to go. But if you had glasses on, yeah, you're screwed. Throw those off, grab new ones. Just thinking about like the
It leads to
defenses.
this. It's a
Right.
classic Shadowrun thing. The 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 arms race, and it's
Exactly.
the most clearly exemplified by summoning spirits,
Oh
because
God.
the
Yeah.
limits of summoning spirits is like how good are you, and how much karma, like how much edge do you have available to spend to like make it successful, to the point of, well, many spirits are pretty cool, but when you start messing around with a fire spirit or an earth spirit, you can just like summon a fire tornado on the spot, or like stop a
Yeah.
fucking armored car, and all of that is super cool. And you end up in those scenarios where the GM now has to respond to you, like the higher threat level of, I don't know, the kind of
Well,
thing
I
where
mean,
the
you have to.
sniper is 500 meters away and just waits for his one opportunity. You have no chance to spot him. You have no chance he exists.
Yeah.
Just shows up,
That's
takes the shot, and we see if you can like untick like 20 damage boxes, because you can't avoid it. You just tank it all.
right. And that's where like the techniques of like telegraphing come around of
Yeah, the role
uh
playing techniques, it's above Shadowrun. That's like
yeah,
system
exactly.
agnostic.
Right. Right. Where it's like, okay, maybe somebody mentions and movies and games and every creative medium
Yeah,
uses this
Chekhov's
technique
sniper rifle is just on the table.
of foreshadowing. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a big open area with long sight lines. Then the player characters can come to their own conclusions, and if they all conclude, right, we're gonna go down there anyways, then they can't be mad that one of them gets their head blown off by a sniper and they have to scatter,
No,
right?
I think I
We had a
think they
situ-
I think they can. It's
well, they can be mad, but sure, but it was hedged, right?
Yeah.
Like we actually had a similar like situation like that in uh one of my Pathfinder games, not that I ran but I played in, where somebody put the GM was really creative on this, Darren. If you're watching, that was a cool scene. They put an oil of silence on their gun, and it's this flintlock gun, and they enchanted their bullets with flight. So it's a subsonic, musket, and we're just hearing and then seeing little puffs of smoke appear around our feet. And for a couple of seconds, we're like, the hell is happening? Oh shit, we're being shot at. And it's
Oh
like
wow.
this super advanced technology for the time, where it's like, well, yeah, we know guns are around, but we never thought about them being silent. But of course, the oil of silence, what the game intends for you to, you put it on your feet, or you dump it on a caster so they can't cast spells or something like that. He was like, you can also just rub that on a gun and the gun's quiet now. I was like, that's freaking cool.
Yeah,
So a lot
that's
of the arms,
the beautiful combination of magic and technology that activates the creative,
Yeah.
like that inspires the creativity in your players or the game master, for that being like, what if I just have an NPC that showcases the system of a combination of
Yeah.
two classes to create a specialist that wouldn't, like, nobody would really build, but people develop in all kinds of directions. So you can have like your little cult
Yeah.
of 12 guys that all they do is like, what, lantern keepers or something? They just keep lanterns, light the way to guide the people to, like to the elven cities or whatever. It's literally all they do. But it's cool, it's evocative, and we are using the system to help us inform the narrative and the world.
Right. Right. It helps you go beyond your bounds, right? That's one of the few arguments I'll make for a class-based system, which Shadowrun doesn't have, but it does give you like the archetypes, right? The Street Sam, Decker, the Rigger.
Yeah, the pre-builds.
Yeah, they give you examples of things you might not have thought of on your own, right? Because if I am put in a Shadowrun, any sort of modern world with guns, I'm always going to build a John Wick style character because it's what I find cool. It's what I know, obviously. But if you start giving me ideas of like, well, you could be a rigger and control a bunch of drones, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, obviously you could do that, but I would not have come up with that on my own, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I like some pre-builds sometimes, even if you're not going to use them to jog your imagination, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I think that is a lot of the problem with things in Shadowrun is that people treat it as a solved game as, oh, there's nothing new under the sun. Everyone's just going to pick the same items, all of this, that, and the other. Well, yeah, that can be true if you just run everything by the books. If you just run everything exactly as written, if the corporations aren't adapting at all to what's being done, right? Then yeah, it's a solved game. And where's the fun in that? But if they start thinking, well, anytime there's a problem with something, see in Ukraine right now, there's a problem with drones. Well, the tanks are adapting immediately. Even in the field, they're putting the cope cages around it, but sometimes they work, right? Just this basically just building like a shed around the tank so that the drone explodes on the shed first instead of hitting the tank.
Oh
It
god, yeah,
works.
that's terrifying to imagine.
It's a really stupid solution to a futuristic problem, right? So I feel like people underestimate the creativity because, of course, as a GM, we're only one brain, and we're supposed to be emulating the brains of millions of people inside the world, right?
Yeah. And it's the thing of Shadowrun is also a setting. It's not, oh, what are people actually doing? It's our like best imagination of the future, of a cyberpunk dystopian future. Or like countries, rights, those things are not important. What's important is money. Money moves any desire and fulfills every desire. It is the new god, and it is what decides whether or not you can allow to have freedoms. Not big freedoms, but small freedoms, And after that, you can ignore that everything is going to shit. And this and core desire of, are you like supporting the corporations by taking big money paychecks to do Shadowruns to like help the transfer of quality employees to a different company? Or are you sticking it to the man to disrupt the infrastructure and help the small folk? Help out the hobbits, help out the punks, help like clearing out the city, like get rid of the horrible gangs that all they do is like spread about fentanyl on the streets, and help out like the old school mafias that are like trying to build communities and stick together. And also you can use it as a vector of like, well, I just live here, so let me pick my favorite, street crime, or my favorite gang, or my district, and support that place, or that family, that structure, and see how far I can push it. Do you see that happening in Shadowrun games? Like, getting actualized through the systems and through the games?
I've seen it a few times. So my wife agreed to play with us once, and she admittedly is not a huge fan. She says she's not a huge fan of sci-fi, and then I was like, "Well, you liked." I can't remember what series I said she liked, but I was like, "This series you like is sci-fi. So what is it that you don't like about these other series?" And she was like, "Okay, well," but she made a character that had a day job as a drawback. She was a teacher, and so her whole character was kind of revolved around she was just doing running for extra money because teaching didn't pay all the bills, but she still wanted to be a teacher, right? So
Yeah.
anytime any of the other characters were doing something, like anytime anybody wanted to deal drugs or anything like that, she saw that reflected ill on the youth community and was like, "No, I'm drawing the line here. I'm not going to do that. Money isn't everything."
Yeah.
So that was cool. I like that.
You can get another sucker, but not me. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, I like when characters I think especially settings like Shadowrun are good where it's like, "All right, where does your character draw the line in the sand?"
And let's
I think
find
it's right
out. You know,
for
like
inter-party conflict,
we
right?
got a mission, everything is going hunky dory. Then the mission has a side objective. Oh, that
Yeah,
looks cool. Actually, can you do that? And you
yeah,
sit there, be like, well, he's 15. I guess I
yeah.
could kidnap him.
Yeah,
But holy
exactly.
shit.
The corpo tells you, "Hey, we need you to take out this IT admin over here. He's been causing a bunch of problems for it." What they don't tell you is it's like a 12-year-old wunderkind that's just hooked up to the Matrix directly.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's just some 12-year-old jacked in and you're
It's
like,
just like,
"Well,
fuck!
it would be easy. It would just be one shot, but like fuck. I'm not going to do that."
Yeah. And that's the amazing role playing potential of cyberpunk games, which is I'm not giving Shadowrun all the credit here. They're not the only one.
Right.
They're not the only game in town. You don't need to
Right.
play Shadowrun to enjoy cyberpunk, but it's the big name. It's a big name, and now with cyberpunk itself having their awesome video game that's not trash anymore after release.
Hey.
They fix all of the stuff gone on them. With their rulebooks, you can have different settings and basically like choose
Right.
your flavor profile, so to say,
Yeah, yeah.
and feel like, okay, what do you want to explore? Do you want to explore like being a nomad that tries to live off the grid and moving from place to place? So the thing that stays the same are the same cars, the same clans, and maybe the same highways, but what changes is the landscape, and you can really have like week to week adventures, which would be really good structures for a Shadowrun. Actually, everything changes, but the characters and the family stay the same, and you can feel
Yeah,
an
yeah.
influence into like moving over to the next session. I think I've talked about this a few times, but I want to know on your end. We switch characters all the time. We show up to play, and one of the things we do is we roll a die, and the lowest die roller is the game master for the evening. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So the thing that happens is, first of all, everybody is prepping something, and you just hope that you don't draw the short straw. But since it's fair, everybody agreed to it, so everybody, does it.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
also there's a combination of different characters that could show up depending on who's the GM, and you don't know until we start. So you can't prep. You can't think
Right.
of what companies are like in the sphere of the characters that might be cool to interact with. What district might be cool to have a closer look on, because you get to know like who the character is. Because you don't. Sometimes you don't even know if it's Seattle or Hamburg in Germany where we role play, which is the other setting for ADL for the European games.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's horrible. that's all I wanted to say. It's absolutely atrocious because in
Oh,
my
that's funny.
brain, what I want in Shadowrun is like, first of all, it's cool to have like one shots adventure. You have to run and you execute. And also you like negotiate or I've like I woke up my wife by talking about Shadowrun too loudly.
I'm glad my wife's a heavy sleeper. Luckily, I'm glad.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah, she's writing. So she is a game master for Shadowrun and plays a lot of those games, and that's why it's also the culture of just asking all the players like, what character are you bringing, which one are you playing, in beforehand, so you have something to grasp onto.
right, and for those at home that don't know, not only is Shadowrun classless, it's also levelless. So
Yeah,
one of the draws of the game, theoretically,
it's a level
is
2
that
rigger and the level 13 street samurai showing up to the same
yeah,
party.
you can take any character and throw them anywhere because a sniper, like Zonalar alluded to earlier, a sniper rifle is, if it's an armor piercing round, is pretty much gonna kill anybody, no matter how much karma they have or how much they built, unless they are literally like almost a cyber zombie at that point. But
Yeah,
the uh yeah, barring whether or not that's a good idea, it is interesting. Because yeah, you can have a ton of different characters and cycle through them. If it you will rarely, if ever, run into the issue of some games where, oh, this is kind of a stealth operation. Well, oh, shit, my character is a full plate fighter that has a -10 to stealth.
yeah.
GM, we didn't talk about this in session 0? What the hell? I'm either useless or actively detrimental here.
Quite literally hired for a job you are not purpose built. Like you
Right.
don't fulfill any purpose. So,
Yeah.
and then the question is, well, in character, why would they pay you? Why would you get
Yeah,
hired? Why
exactly.
would the other guys agree to share the payment with you?
And I think that's one of the issues with Shadowrun is when things go well, if you built like a dedicated Street Sam, you're kind of just there for the ride. Like the
Yeah.
Street Sam only ever gets to do something if something's gone wrong. Like you might be able to sneak up behind a guard, like knock him out, but if you're pulling out your crime wave or your crime bomb, then something seriously bad has
And
happened.
this has been like often like a comical depiction over here for our German circles about American Shadowrunners. Like the American player base would do stuff like these are the stories that come over through conventions and plays with each other of like experience that people have playing with Americans of oh yeah they would do stuff like replace the legs with mono wires, mono webs and stuff like that. So you're a literal amputee, but you do fuck ton of damage and completely ridiculous builds like you literally one intelligence character
Oh God,
and that
yeah.
stuff. That like I used to laugh about this 10 years ago when I was young and dumb. And 2 months ago, I had the player show up at my table with a troll that has what was it, 150 karma or 250 karma?
Yeah, you were talking about this.
Yes. And he has a troll with he literally had one intelligence, but he had so much karma he decided to get 2 intelligence this round.
Oh, there
Level
we
it up
go.
and go to university or something. And he also had zero point 0.1 points of essence, which
Of
means
course.
he's soulless, except he gets to still roleplay because you only have the numerical value of 0.1 and 0. That's the only important difference. Although you have,
That's the
say, 6 essence to spend and use to upgrade your character of like rip off your arm. Yeah, you might lose some essence, but you can have a cyber arm.
and
Cool stuff like that.
essence, for those not in the know, is basically like the measure of your humanity. It is like
The
the
measure
less
of your
human you
soul.
yeah, the less human you are, the more of yourself that you give up to the machine. Or like vampires, for example, can drain your essence.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
you
yeah,
eventually
true.
become like a cyber zombie where you're you're still moving around, you still live technically, but you're not in control of any of your functions. You're more machine than man.
Except,
Um,
guess what kind of players are attracted by Shadowrun? It's the same kind of players that are attracted by Pathfinder. And what do they like?
min-maxing tragically. That's
They like the
it,
rules. They're like, oh, I know
you
how this
will
rule works. I don't get
right.
punished until I reach 0 essence. So let me
And
just install all of the hot shit cyberware with the best grade I can get my grubby little gamer hands on, you know?
and
And
inevitably you will find one of those that then gets pissed when you go, okay, here's a vampire. He has to scratch you once before you're dead. It's like, what?
it's
No,
a
my
gang of
character.
vampires, by the way. It's a whole gang.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's like literally, it's like, dude, you knew this before you built the character. What did you just expect to always win, right? Tim Kaine talks about this. I've referenced it a few times where he talks about GURPS. You have the issue of the Johnny One spell, where somebody would go, "Oh, I'll just put all my points into fire magic, and then I'll just win every encounter by myself." Oh, okay. Here's a fire elemental. He's immune to fire. What do you do now? Your
I
character's not a real human being, right? What he grew up. He didn't learn how to speak. He didn't learn how to do woodworking. He didn't learn any other skills. He just know. No, he's just a street Sam. He's replaced his whole body with machine. All he is a killing machine. It's like, okay, that's an NPC. That's not like,
and but
yeah, that's
it doesn't happen in other systems as much. Like
right.
nobody plays D&D and it's like I build a murder machine. They build a character that they want to make a murder machine, or they build a murder machine, then think about what let's put in some his drawbacks and his inspiration and his
Mhm.
goal in life on top of it. Even in fifth edition of D&D, that's still the case. They might not
Right.
roleplay it, but that's a player choice. But in a
Right.
game like Shadowrun, they do. They go that hard in the paint sometimes of I'm just playing a video game by hands, going
Yep.
through a mission that the game master is hand designing for me for free, like wasting 8 hours of his free time to do this.
Right.
It's if that's not a vampire, what else would it be?
Right. Right. And
Like
I met those players, and
I, I'm making fun of
it's
stuff. I just need to like put a bow on this. I'm making fun of it because they don't realize this, but it's incredibly selfish. Like
I think
absolutely
it's fine
incredibly selfish.
to make fun of people that take advantage of your time, right? And it's a
Yeah,
big talk in the hobby. Oh, I'm a forever GM. Oh, none of my players is willing to GM. None of your players is willing
none
to
of them.
GM, then stop GMing for them.
Yeah,
That like what are you saying here, right? It's an issue with a lot of hobbies,
it's
right?
like
Like
relationships are a give and take. Don't let yourself get taken
right,
advantage of.
like when I'm running martial arts classes, who does all pretty much all of the research, who sends out every email looking for new gym spaces we can meet, who organizes every outreach event, who does all this. And I like most of my students, but occasionally you'll have one that's like, oh man, it's a shame that we don't do that. And it's like, okay, then fucking do something yourself, man. Like
Yeah,
I'm one person, right? I have a full-time job. I have two I have a full-time job and a contract job, and I teach here. Like
and you have like five
I'm
hobbies on top of it that have
right.
nothing to do
Like
with
I'm
this.
doing as much as I can for it, but that's, and that's where a lot of people start feeling burnout is when you have players that, God, it's awful when they don't want to learn the rules, when they always, they've played a rigger for 5 sessions now and they still need to be asked, okay, what's my limit on this? I don't know. It's on your character sheet. Why are you asking me for it? Or, they get mad when something doesn't go their way, and then it's like, okay, you should build your character a different way, man. Like
Yeah,
you knew what your weaknesses are, shore them up. uh
and
I have no problem with min-maxing if you're gonna take your lumps, if you're gonna take that uh like if you're role playing an Achilles where you're indestructible but you have this one weakness, then cool, be be satisfied when something figures out your weakness and ends up killing you. um or delivering you a debilitating blow where you have to modify, you have to go back, you have to go through your training montage and go back through it, right?
Yeah, but you
Uh,
can't kill characters. I never see it happen in Shadowrun specifically. And
oh, interesting.
it's a combination of things of you show up and you don't know who the game master is, and you don't know what characters are being played unless you do the extra effort of getting that information. And if the run happens, you don't want to have something too consequential because he's playing the same character on other campaigns with other GMs, and you might ruin some storyline of somebody else. Right, like in D&D, you have one game master for the characters. In Shadowrun, you could have like up to 5 different game masters, like putting their hands into what's happening to the character's life based on
Yeah, I suppose yeah.
what's happening. So that's what's in your mind of like, hell, do I really want to be the guy that, do I want to be that guy that's like, well, those guys are summoning fire spirits, like tier 5 fire spirits that come after you, and none of you is a wizard.
Right. So
It's
so
stuff
good
like
luck here.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, there's a similar thing in
Like, yeah, stone, paper, scissors, they're all stones and you got paper ready. Like,
right.
I guess I can just pull out paper and ruin their life, and all of the characters are gone. The last 4 years of playtime and role playing and all of those memories, put a stop to it now because of a bad combination of.
Again, that kind of thing I think comes with telegraphing, right? When you're meeting with your Mr. Johnson, you have a sit down and he's like, "Man, you guys have been doing well so far, but all it would take is one wizard, one scion, somebody with a gift.
Yeah.
Just one person in the right place on the wrong day and your whole group is done." And that should kind of be the in-universe prompt to go, "Oh shit, okay, let's go do something else. Before we take on this job, we ought to get some karma, get some, gain some skills in
Make a connection,
handling this. Hire somebody else, and entirely change a character." Because Shadowrun totally supports that. Hey, I'm not.
Shadowrun does, but the game tables do not.
Exactly.
By design of how the
tabletop
table is being set up.
Yeah.
Of we have this one session, and that's why they run for 8 hours. You have to plan, you have to get to know each other, and you need to scout out the region. You have to figure out if you're missing any shortcomings, get the materials, get like special weapons, or let's buy some grenades here, or some C4, or maybe we need a sniper rifle for this mission because it's shoot somebody on a boat, and like, how do you shoot somebody on a boat? I don't know, but we could set up in a tower, maybe we can see him better, stuff like that, and then execute the run. Something will go amiss, hopefully, if we want to have fun, something goes wrong.
Exactly.
And then the thing that gets cut out is after the mission is successful of celebrating, like, no, we don't have time for that, let's go home. Like, fuck! I finally get to roleplay with the other characters, but nobody has time. People are packing the backpacks, and I just sit there and be like, well, I guess I don't want to roleplay Shadowrun anymore because this fucking sucks.
All right. Yeah, I think that's what I've found over the years is that it always goes back to table culture. That's 90% of it. The game is the other 10%. Like a bad table can take the best game and just run it into the ground. And I don't know if I have a great solution for that. Like I said, the books can do things, but there's a problem. People don't read, right? Was it Mike Merles again? He tweeted that less than a third of people who say they play D&D can name all 6 attributes. Only 7% of people who say they play D&D could name all 6.
Well, I might confuse wisdom and willpower, because some call it wisdom, the other willpower.
Right.
But
right.
other than that, it's not that hard.
You're right, but it just goes to show you, right? They've been the same for 40 years. With the amount of people that say, "I've been playing X for 40 years. I've been doing," when they don't read the most common, I mean, you're basically saying, well, all right, I guess of the millions of people that play these games out there, we're really probably restricted to like less than 10% of the player base, and that's kind of a tough pill to swallow. I think it's why a lot of people push back on hey Kingmaker, on what the um on what the things guys like Sean or Crispy, Max say about it, which is, man, you really have to curate your table because
Yes.
there's so many cool ideas in Shadowrun, but man, you gotta know you have the right table, right?
So what's worthwhile to roleplay in Shadowrun? Let's start. What? Right. So we got. I'm gonna reference our good friend Space Roadie. Of why the fuck are you biking with square wheels? Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you even try to roleplay in Shadowrun? Or why would you even try to roleplay in Pathfinder? Those are the
Yeah.
classics. Like he posts the pictures, and it really illustrates the point of a rules-heavy, clunky system. It's not just like, oh, people don't read. On top of that is basic mechanics for the rigger, like building and upgrading drones, are in the rigger book and not the base manual, including core stuff like auto skill softs for the drones to
Yep.
install that makes them useful in the first place.
Right.
You don't even get access to that as a normie player. That's like, I've done the investment of buying the core rulebook and studying it between sessions and show up for the table. Oh, you need like at least 2 different DLC books. I forget.
Yeah.
Like upgrade
I
books for your
I
class
think
and maybe for like a
right.
bunch of guns and maybe something that has nothing to do with anything that just gives you more options to
There's a
build a competent character that's cool and fun to play. That's
there's a lot tied up in what you're saying here.
yes,
And part of that is the traditional publishing structure is totally broken.
yes.
Oh, buy this one book, you'll be able to play the game. Okay, buy Civilization 5, you'll be able to play the game. But Civilization 5 sucks if you don't have the DLC. If you have the DLC, it's a great game. But it sucked for like 2 years until all the DLC came out and effectively were mods to fix the game. Here, buy Skyrim, you can play it. Yeah, but vanilla Skyrim sucks. You have to mod it. But millions and millions of people over a decade later are still playing Skyrim. They're still playing Civ 5. And for that matter, they're still playing Shadowrun. They're still playing Pathfinder. They're still playing Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition from many, many decades ago. That many people might be wrong. They might be. But I'm more inclined to believe there's something there. I wanted to quote Sajam, famous fighting game commentator and YouTuber, who a couple of months ago I clipped on this because I knew it would be valuable. He says, it's so funny because so many people are like, oh, Tekken fans, you're not happy? Well, why don't you come play this game? Tekken fans don't want to do that, bro. They want to play Tekken. The answer is not go play something else. The answer is they need Tekken to change in a way that suits their likes and needs. And even if you go and play the old Tekkens, you won't have the player base to support that.
It's like I want to watch Spider-Man. I don't want to watch like a shitty Spider comic superhero movie that's not fucking Peter Parker. It's
Exactly,
Spider.
right?
Can you make a
So,
good Spider-Man movie, please? I'm begging you.
yes, there's enough of a draw to the universe of. Well, why don't you just play Cyberpunk? Well, there's no magic in it, for
Yeah.
example. It's a totally different
I
setting.
want to
The
play with
setting is
racism, okay? Like I want to play a dwarf that
yeah,
fucking hates
yeah.
elves. I want to
The
be like an orc
yeah,
poser that gets bullied by orcs, but I secretly love them, but they hate me. Like
right.
all of these concepts.
It's like going if you asked a friend, "Hey, we're gonna go to the theaters and watch the Ghost in the Shell re-release," and they said, "Why don't we sit at home and watch Blade Runner instead?" Because just because they're the same genre, right? coffee and chocolate both come from beans, but it doesn't mean you would make a dessert out of fucking pinto beans,
It's
right? Like
no, it's even worse.
you
Hey,
can't.
hey, let's watch Lord of the Rings. Okay, it's fine. Come home. Come to my home. You come home. You go to their home. You have, cake. Get a beer, and he starts the fucking Hobbit movies. It's like, no, I want to strangle you right now.
Exactly. It's not the same, right?
It's
Again,
Lord
and it
of the
goes back
Rings
to the
movies, the short version, the cinematic release.
right, and it goes back to the box ticking where it's like, what? It's fantasy. It's a role playing game. It's like, yeah, but it's not the same. And it goes to the question, and you won't know the answer to the question until you've done it. Is it more work to make Shadowrun role playable, or is it more work to take Cyberpunk and add a magic system to it? I would argue it's a lot more work to take Cyberpunk and add a magic system to it than it is to take Shadow. And Cyberpunk 2 has stayed retro future. It's still an 80s vision of what the 2050s, 60s, 70s would
Right,
look like.
right.
Shadowrun has adapted with the time, in addition to having all the magic, in addition to having all the fantasy races with Surge and Surge 2. Uh, it is a totally different world and setting. And when you change the setting, system is setting. The system has to change. If you don't have a magic system, but you have magic, well, it's just not going to land, right? Like, I will routinely say, Easy D6, Traveler, they don't work for me. They're too simple, right?
Yeah.
I really like the character creation for Traveler, but when you make one guy that's good with a gun, you've done it every time. Every single time.
There,
All of the guns play exactly the same,
there is
right?
a profound satisfaction of role playing out a combat scene where you got the street Sam.
Yeah.
The other guy is an adept. Somebody else is a magic user that's like enchanting stuff or helping out on the battlefield. And you got the rigger that busts out his fucking car and, like pulls out the hidden weapons. Or I literally used my car as a weapon during a fight
Oh yeah,
as a gnome
very
rigger.
effective.
And what I did is I'm just driving over them. They don't jump out of the way.
Yeah.
Then I hit them and hit their car behind them. That way, I have an easier way to escape when we have to skedaddle and the other car is hopefully damaged and, they have to like get things working again first before they chase us. If I'm
Yep.
lucky. That's fun because I have rules for all of that. I got the rules.
Yeah.
I know like how
Or
much.
like
Yeah.
I'm always thinking like, right, if we're going loud, it's great to have suppression rules that my street Sam with an LMG, I don't need to kill anybody. I just need them to not poke their heads around that corner while the decker is hacking something. He set off some alarm. I need him to hurry the fuck up and finish. But I've got a belt of 100 rounds. We can stay here for a while.
Yeah,
Sorry,
for
my
sure.
dog is scratching.
Yeah, no worries.
Meanwhile, if I'm the face and I've got my little snub nose revolver in here, totally different. I can't suppress anybody. I can take 1 or 2 shots, and then I'm down to 3 or 4. And now that I'm here, my reload takes forever. But if I do end up killing somebody, I don't leave any rounds anywhere. I don't leave any
Yes.
trace. If we do end up having another decker, they can't hack my gun. It's all dumbware. So these different contexts that the game has already codified, the designers have already spent the time,
To
even
think
if they're
about
not
it.
thinking
Yeah.
about these explicit situations, they've set it up for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to now try and, shove these rules into a really light system and go, oh, fuck, well, they didn't consider that, it's just a sword. In Traveler, there is no spear that's long. Even in Dungeons and Dragons, there is no, well, a spear is much longer than a longsword, is longer than a dagger, is longer than, that doesn't exist. And so you get to these goofy situations where the rogue is knife fighting you while you have a big two-handed sword, and it's like, why can't I just take a slight step back? That's where things start to fall apart when the rules are not sufficiently crunchy, and it's where the draw is to systems like Shadowrun, beyond just the setting, which we've already talked about.
We have a lot of dreaded term fun with,
Yeah.
with Shadowrun of the clunky combat.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
combat starts, and guess what? The mooks that have no superpowers take combat drugs to be able to survive the fight.
Yes, yeah. Even the cops, yeah.
And you have your cyberware of gotta keep up, somehow. And if you don't have cyberware, if you're not an adept, if you don't have a trump card in your set, you're smoke. And that's cool. And it's cool in the ways of like, it makes me believable. It makes the world more dangerous. It does make me feel like the Shadowrun video game where some guy is a fucking cyber psycho just freaking out and suddenly like dashes with his Thunder Vista across the place and guts me with his blade. Like, oh shit, I couldn't do anything because my character is not set up for this.
Right.
But in the role-playing game, to convey those moments through the initiative system of, okay, he has his 10 points plus 3d6 and he rolled well, and he has an initiative of 22, and you rolled poorly with 1d6 and you have 11. He has an extra round on top of you. So you're always fighting on the back foot, or, right, the power fantasy, you always have an advantage over the enemy because you have the first draw. You're always a bit faster.
Yeah.
Or you can both like give and take and shoot, but since you have more initiative, you can also use the dodge action and spend 5 points to like dodge bullets better, or reduce the amount of times you have to worry about.
You can just be mag dumping because you always have the turn to reload on top of them.
Yeah, like, oh, I don't need to count bullets. We're already going loud. Let me just dump the whole mag. I'm not worried about killing them. I just need to get to the other side of the corridor.
Right. And if they pop around the corner thinking, oh, great, he fired 6 shots, and then you have the speed to pop the cylinder open, pop just 1 round in, pop there. That was always such a cool moment of the, like, fast reloads. It makes speed feel fast rather than just... Because there's only so... Yeah, description and roleplay solves everything, but there are only so many times you can describe someone doing something really fast when, buddy, we all know it's the same 5 that you rolled last time. It's only it's a d6, right? It's the same 5 you rolled last time. It's the same 6 you rolled last time. I know it's all just a skin. I know it's all just flavor, right? And eventually, and that's, a player by player thing. Some people are really, really good and talented at their suspension of disbelief, and they can bar all of that out. But for me, the moment, it's kind of like using different simulators, right? Or different sparring rule sets, right? We can go, oh, well, if that was an actual punch, you would have been knocked out. But eventually, when you've done a lot of light sparring, you have some hunger for like, all right, let's test that. Actually hit me. Maybe not to the face, but
you get the
give me some
bloodlust,
hard leg shots.
you got that like the death kill glare in your eyes. I know how it is. Yes. I'm totally a murderer too. When I roll with the boys and kill the victim.
Maybe we don't need to be doing full-on ballistics calculations in the game, but perhaps have a little bit more than you've got a rifle, you've got a pistol.
No, we do the fall damage calculations of like how fast you hit your car into another car, and well, you weren't locked into your seatbelt, so there you go flying. Let's figure out how fast you're flying and how much fall damage you're taking.
Let me know what you think about this on the topic of crunchy games, because I think a technique you could use for those situations where, oh shit, I do need to do a crazy calculation in the game that's really clunky.
A classic use of grenades being here because
salsa,
since they can like reverberate back, which is a great mechanic to illustrate like something explodes. So
if you drop a grenade into a
Yeah.
into a tank or something, everyone in there is dead. Like
Yes.
barring some crazy
And
situation.
because of the way the mechanic works, you can use them like a landmine. It blows up, but if
Yeah.
it's a car, it goes down and goes up again. So
Yeah.
the effect happens a few times.
Yeah, they've designed realistic explosive overpressure mechanics in tabletop RPG, which is pretty wild. A way I have thought of, there's two ways I've thought of doing this, which is simplify it to, if you throw a grenade in a small enclosed space like a tank, you don't need to do math. Everybody in there makes like one roll on
If there's
their
an
body
important
or
guy, he
whatever.
makes an edge roll. You know, like
Yeah,
forget
or
all the
edge.
other rolls.
Or
Roll me
everybody
your
in there's
one
dead,
edge, your
right?
NPC edge, and see if you roll a 5 and a 6.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
survives. You know,
Right.
Like, the players are not gonna look inside afterward. Like they're too busy succeeding their mission. You know, like putting on the
Right,
sunglasses,
exactly.
walk away from the explosion. They're not looking.
Yeah.
If
The
they're cool
other-
players, there might be layer players that are like, no, I want to see if they're all dead, you know? I walk past
The-
all the bodies and stab them
Right.
with my bayonet each individually.
The other thing I've thought though is when it's infrequent like that, it doesn't happen all the time. I think it would be fine to have like an interlude break and go, all right, we're not even going to pretend we're still playing. We're going to cut to commercial. How often does that happen in like cop serials or in like the Sarah
Yeah.
Connor Chronicles Terminator? A grenade gets dropped chucked in a door, and then cut to commercial, and you're going, what happened? And then you can pause. Everybody can go to the bathroom, get a drink.
The door,
while you
yeah,
do
the
all
door
the fucking
opens.
math to find
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
is everybody in that room dead? Did you just, did you kill the monstrous Street Sam that has been fucking just busting through doors this whole point? You've tried everything to kill him. That, I think if used sparingly, could be a cool technique. Because I think the big problem that 4D wants to solve is the constant interruptions for rule lookups. The constant, you can't be in character for more than, 5 minutes at a time without something popping up that you have to. If you actually codify
Yes.
all right, it's been 30 minutes and this weird edge case has popped up and it's a tense situation. I'd be interested in that. I'll have to try that out sometime.
It's the whole thing of exceptions or rules.
Yeah,
The
they
rule
proved
is,
the rule, yeah.
I get to ask the game master every time I feel like of how the rule works. Hey, I'm using grenades today. How do grenades work? Okay, I guess that's 5 minutes of the session done
Right.
already. But with 4D, it's like, hey GM, I got grenades. Keep that in mind, and then you roleplay. And the GM is like, oh, there's a scene, and 3 player characters are role-playing with each other to discuss something. I had some time to think about what happens if he does throw that grenade, under a car or into that room. It's like, oh, all my NPCs are dead. And then the thought process is over. He doesn't need to think about it anymore. Problem
Exactly.
solved.
Right. You just need to describe the paste that's left behind, the little shreds of
Yeah.
clothing.
That's the thing of like asking the players, hey, what character are you bringing? Oh, I'm bringing my Street Sam called Stumpfzahn. And yeah, I got like my shotgun in my arm and got a couple grenades as my tusks. And then after the fact, oh, since I've been playing for a while, I also have a bazooka now and a sniper rifle.
There you go.
And now he can think about, okay, well, I can give him like some heavy duty enemies to use those weapons for, or be like, you're out in more lawless lands, or the rough and tumble parts of the town where somebody might just rock up with a crazy gun to terrorize whoever they feel like it, because it's the laws of the jungle out there. Really like, guess I pull out my fucking, storm cannon and be like, well, you really want to compare dicks here now? Or
Right.
are you conceding?
And that's one of the great things about Shadowrun, I think, is that if somebody pulls something like that out, everyone has to be scared, right? It's a problem with a lot of traditional RPGs.
And with players, like, please be
Yeah.
scared. You see
Right,
somebody
like-
in a chopper shooting with a sniper rifle at your car,
Yeah.
you better be like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Instead, the players
Yeah.
all sit there be like, oh, this is really annoying. I have no tools to deal with this.
Right. But as you know, in like Dungeons and Dragons, somebody pulls a sword on you and you're level 10 and you're like, am I supposed to be impressed? I don't. That could be a level 1 peasant pulling out a sword, and I don't care. If it's a level 10 guy pulling out the sword, then I care all of a sudden. But I have no idea, right? Like,
Yes.
I'm not scared until he stabs somebody, and then all of a sudden that same sword, used in one way or another, does more damage. And you're like, okay, there's magic, sure, skill, sure, but like
No
this
telegraphing.
one guy
You don't
has to
know.
poke me 20 times to kill me. The other guy cuts my arm clean off in one blow.
It's okay.
Whereas-
No, it's a Dragon Ball problem of at the start you can see it in the body shape and form and the change of hair
Right.
color
Right.
and the aura that pulsates out of them of like, oh, he's stronger. And then they added numbers to this. It's over 9,000. And now it's like a number we can equate to, and we have the concept of power levels. And you realize, oh, nothing of that is shown on screen because it's so ridiculous now. That how do we even
Right.
show this?
Right.
But if you watch One Punch Man, it's like, okay, how do we show this? Incredible, amazing animation that's like out of this world, blowing your mind as you watch it. It just becomes more ridiculous as they go up in power levels, fighting each other. To the point it's just like flashes, like a fucking supernova going off in all directions. Animation solved this beautifully, like good animations. And we can have that in role playing too. Like the guy pulls out his sword,
Yeah.
like
Description. Yeah.
it's he doesn't move with his hand. The sword blade is at your throat. Then you hear the zish of the blade swing after the fact because it's so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figuring out the verbiage to describe
Well, like with the
how fast something happens.
it was something I thought about last year, where I had
Right, yeah.
I had sort of curated my own random encounter list for my home Pathfinder game that had been going on for ages, and there was two wizards dueling. They were like elemental specialists, and very like Western theme, like, and the only thing the player characters heard was the lightning elementalist casting lightning bolt and just a crack of thunder. I'm like, I have never heard anyone describe the
crack of thunder?
right,
Yeah.
like the
yeah.
and Paizo themselves, they tell you to describe the sight, sound, smells, all of that with the spell, but nobody does it, right? And that's why I say it always goes back to being a table problem, not a game problem, right? Not that games have no problems, right? They do, but a lot of it is like, dude, just describe the thing, and then the mechanics fall into place, right?
It's the thing of my guy has a shotgun in his arm, but my arm is. I have like this drawback that's clunky. It's not like a drawback Shadowrun terms, but it means that I have more room inside to fit shotgun in. So the way I describe it is like I have like literal like not vents, like fans on like the shoulder part that's like super bulky. So I have like enough airflow to run the whole machine that is my arm because it's super
Right.
fast, it's super strong, and it has a gun
Yeah.
inside.
This is going to generate a lot of heat.
Yes. So when I start punching somebody, I do describe it. And back then I was also watching an anime called Megalobox.
Oh yeah, Mega! I need to finish that one. Yeah.
They put on these rickety tools with like pistons, automated pistons and stuff to support their punches. And they have like all the signs and the super slick new stuff for the upcoming world champion and the rugged new guy that's the stray dog. It's like, fuck you, fuck everybody, I'm gonna win this. Fighting against all odds. It's beautiful. So I do the description of like fucking fan spins up, verse loud, crazy loud. It's like smoke is coming out, and I throw my punch, bam, like straight into the jawline of the other guy, and he has to like,
awesome.
okay, well, you're taking 16 damage from my punch, my guy. Go ahead and do your armor stuff, and if you have defense, and most of them are just like, well, he's either dead or dying on the ground, being like, ah!
Yeah. Very unconscious at the very least.
Very unconscious or gives up on the fight, like, cowering on the ground. And every time I'm like, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy because I get to roleplay the power of the mechanics into my character and describe it to everyone at the table, and they're like, yeah, that was cool. Okay, we all admit this was awesome.
You don't run into the issue that, like, say Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition has, where you come up with your super cool description, and then you cut the guy and you're like, oh, congrats, you did 1/10 of his giant hit point pool, and you brought him 1 out of 3 steps closer to dying. And I'm like, why won't you die? I feel like an Oblivion NPC over here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have 12 hit points? Well, he's a giant, so he gets to have 85 hit points. It's like, what am I doing here? Absolutely. So I was trading off with story mode here. The core of the question is 4D role-playing, Shadowrun. But we like to focus on 4D role-play since that's what we do. But for people at home, the concept you brought up of you together, of like, it's no longer the rule to ask questions, now it's the exception. So if clunky rule hits the combat scenario or hits the face scenario or the hacking scenario of we need to slow down the game a little bit and figure out how this hacking thing works because you didn't think about the fucking defenses of the coffee shop. Or the bar next door that's like next to the actual target. You got the big strokes down as the prep, since you gotta know, like, it's a run. They're fighting opposition, so let's figure out what the opposition have access to. But then there's also a world they can hack the planet. And how does that work? Taking some time to figure that out, or understanding enough of the core rules that you and the hacking player can play it more smoothly. Let's talk about this a bit more, of things you have seen happen, things that worked, or things that you think would work based on our experience with like playing Pathfinder in 4D and other systems.
Yeah, so there's a concept in technical writing and in a few other fields called heuristics, which is basically give me the whole picture and I can make something true, and I can make a true enough statement from all of that, right? So when you know core mechanics, you can do a lot of shorthands. Like for NPCs, when I first ran Shadowrun, I did not understand how to run NPCs. One of my biggest frustrations with it is there are not enough pre-built NPCs in that game. If you go through Pathfinder, if you go through any of the Archives of Nethys, D20 SRD, you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of pre-built NPCs ready for you to just click on it. Oh, thank God. They've already done all the work for me, right? All I have to do is modify 1 or 2 things. Shadowrun goes, well, here's maybe 10. And I'm like, oh.
Yes, go ahead.
So my main solution was just to go, well, if somebody's supposed to be really good at something and cybered up, they're usually rolling, 9 to 10 dice on something? Average, they're rolling 5 to 6 if they're specialized. Do I even want them to be as skilled or have as many resources as the player characters?
Yeah.
All different questions you can ask, and when you know the core mechanics, when you know what the numbers should be, you can have a much broader spectrum of like, okay, here's their limit for most physical actions, and then kind of play Calvin ball with it of like, okay, it doesn't make sense that the skill groups will help with this. He's kind of generally good at running, swimming, climbing, and this, but he's not specialized in it. That will help in one way. narrow down a lot of the stuff, especially for NPCs where you're like, I don't think this guy's going to be important, but he might have to make a few rolls. It's like
S-
a, you know,
skill
a
groups
po-
are skill groups are fantastic, and give them the specialization for the one thing they're hired for.
right. Yeah.
So you have that +2 die roll on the thing they're specialized for. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Um, and a lot of that goes with for GMing, yeah, it's a lot harder because you have to remember a bunch of stuff for a bunch of different characters, right?
yes,
Whereas the player character is just remembering their thing, which is still a lot in Shadowrun. Hell, it can be a lot in Pathfinder too. Cheat sheets will obviously help with that kind of thing, but by the time you make a cheat sheet for every drone that you have and every weapon that you have as a rigger, every program you have as a decker, it's not really a cheat sheet anymore. It's
it
just a book.
it's just a sheet, and the sheet has 6 pages, and there's the whole character on
Right,
it.
right.
And that's what I
And
use for my rigger. Yeah, I printed it. I used Chummer, printed out the sheet, and got it all on hand because I'm gonna need it. I'm actually
right,
gonna fucking
exactly.
need it to run the game, to play the game, and to not slow down everybody else. It's like, oh, please, somebody else take a turn so I can look
Yeah.
what it looks like if I want to sneak with my drone while I'm not locked in. Like, if he
And
only gets 4 die rolls, I'm not even gonna bother like to
yeah,
sneak.
yeah.
I'm just fly there, and either people look and do something about it or they don't.
And you exactly mentioned a really good technique for it, which is don't call attention to yourself. Don't start thinking about it whenever it's your turn of, oh shit,
Don't
everybody
clamor
else
for
is
help
sneaking.
to your GM of like, oh please, I need you. I have one problem. I need your immediate help right now. It's like you have a bit of independence of how to play the game, and I guess it might be. I want to say it's like a newbie thing of like, okay, newcomers get some help, but then newcomers learn to ask for help all the time. Well, instead, you want to teach people of like, you're playing a rigger, so what I help you with all like the normal rules, you learn about rigger. And if
Right.
you have questions, we figure it out like before the sessions. Or we
Yeah.
roleplay, figure out all the points we messed up, and
Yeah,
learn
exactly.
about it after the sessions. Like, now we have a reason to look up the book, the rule book.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my main preference is know all the rules, at least all the ones that you're pretty sure you're going to be interacting with. When you run into that one edge case where you didn't have the rule for it, well, if you're a GM, you can make a ruling then and there and
Yes.
say, well, you're grappling. I don't know the exact grappling rules. I can just have you roll strength. I can just have you roll, something that's close enough. And most people aren't going to be mad at that, right? And on the player's end, it's your job to go, right, okay, we're just keeping things moving. Don't stop them and go, what? No, it's supposed to be the grapple flow chart. What? Where does it say that? Oh, on page 130. And now you've just taken all of the tension out of what was a guy trying to hold you up by the throat
Oh
up
yeah.
against the wall. You've just absolutely taken the blow out of the scene. You don't want to do that. So, absolutely my preference is a hierarchy of know the rules first. You've got an edge case, make a ruling on the fly, and then this third idea of, okay, maybe you know the rules, but they still take a bit to resolve, like the grenade situation. Like if you're going to do hacking rules as written in Shadowrun, that takes a long time, and you're zoomed in on one character for a long time too. Maybe a solution to that is let's take a break. We're gonna zoom in on this guy real quick.
And our table, ever since the existence of 5th edition, since I joined, like, I don't know, like, I started playing 10 years ago at this point, for sure. Shadowrun 5th edition. And we never used the marks. The marks are so trash, we just ignored completely.
Yeah, same.
They literally don't add anything.
No,
Because,
it's basically a meta currency. I mean, you don't spend it, but you try to build them up, and it's like, what is a mark? And it's like, well, it's a little symbol that you put. It's like, what? Why? It's a totally unbelievable system for hacking to function, right? Like it's
It
just
makes
if you know
Shadowrun a bit
anything,
more silly. Like, in a way,
yeah,
the cool part is hackers have a free spirit and they leave the mark behind somewhere. Be like, it's their signature. You know, it's like their fucking lead speak username or something, or the 32 pixel graphics. But it's a role playing game. Like, we don't see that,
right,
and why would that be how we determine if you have access to something or not, when you can
yeah,
do the same thing with one role? Do you get in
exactly,
or
yeah.
not? And if you
Come
get,
make your.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, make your computers roll, make your software roll, and then your limit is gonna be one thing. The other thing's gonna roll firewall. You succeed or you don't. That's maybe you can make another check if you fail, but it'll be harder this time because you've got to
Oh
ping
yeah,
on the firewall now. That's how we run it, and it's so much simpler than sitting here and the Street Sam and the Face are like sitting around on lookout like, are you in yet? It's like, no, and then it's like
it's
rolls to make
it's
another mark.
literally the
And then
meme of Street Sam walks through the door and says, "Are you winning, son?" Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you're just gaming in your
Yeah.
matrix, figuring out. It's like clicking the button, trying to defeat the final boss. It's like, he's not
Mhm.
dead yet. No, I'm getting there. I swear, I'm competent. I promise. Like, yeah, sure, nerd. Ruffles head.
Whatever. You just tell me when I need to throw a grenade through the door when it's
Yeah,
all over.
exactly. I'm gonna look up some of the core rules for hacking, because it's one of the things of like, oh, I really like Shadowrun. I like the setting. I enjoy playing my rigger. I enjoy playing my street sam. I did make like a mage who has like cool lore and backgrounds. Like, all she does is being a face, being incredibly pretty, and being a victim of circumstances. And the only way to get like any say in her life is by being a Shadowrunner, because otherwise she's gonna become a pawn of somebody else's, like a trophy wife for somebody else. And
Mm,
I also have this technomancer to figure out how technomancy works. Like, have fun with that. Like, that guy role playing a literal free spirit with the power of technomancy, using it to create music, create and distribute music everywhere. I don't know why my camera froze for some reason, but it did.
well, it sure did. And it's usually
Yeah,
my cameras that's having the issues. So.
that's okay. That's weird. But you can still hear me, so let's just keep going. And with the technomancer, I'm touching into a new set of roles that's so opaque to learn and understand for the game master and the players. That's It's the same question of like, is it even worth to use another abstract layer of interacting with the whole world that the mage cannot interact with and the hacker cannot interact with? Only other technomancers know what's going on.
Right.
What are you gaining? What are you losing from adding this layer to the Shadowrun world? Because
Right.
it is a big lore thing to inform.
Yeah, and that's effectively what the draw of it is. This big like, whoa, the magical, spiritual, and the technological are interacting. They're not mutually exclusive now. Like you can hack into computers with magical spirits. That's weird. What's going on here?
Yes.
But did you need to come up with a whole new subsystem and mechanic to show that? I don't think so. Me personally, I'm not sure that you needed to have this huge distinction between, okay, this is a spirit, here's software. These guys use decks, you don't use a deck, you have the. And it's just, yeah, it's very messy. It's really confusing. It's really difficult. The way it's written and edited is super poor because the lore and the mechanics will phase in and out as you're reading them. So on one page,
Yes.
it'll start explaining the lore, and then it'll go, oh, okay, so here's the mechanics of how that works, and then you'll get more lore, and you're like, wait, you didn't explain anything. Hold on, you. It's the that archetype is probably where Shadowrun 5th edition's bad editing is the most obvious. It's even looking up like how the fuck do these mechanics work? People will still disagree on them. People will still go like, it's not really clear. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And my camera is dead for now, so we're just gonna continue without the camera for now.
Hey, no worries.
Luckily, it doesn't switch the positions for the stream.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I'm good. But yeah, that's a massive problem, massive pain in the ass. Because it's the part where like crunch goes from complex to complicated, of adding another layer of how this abstractions are being resolved in this role-playing game, that you as the game master are dealing with the fighters that fight differently, from the adept to the street samurai to like a normal gunslinger, you know, like his advantage is like working on all the guns himself and adapting them and doing like modifying the guns instead of modifying himself.
Right.
And
I'll be right back real quick.
Okay, yeah, sure thing. And stuff like the the wizard who modifies the world around him or influences people's minds. And then you also have the rules for to keep talking to the audience. The rules for the wizard of summoning spirits, that's completely different. The rules for casting magic and how it affects people. It's a lot of it over time. Like adding the technomancy on top of it all and having the technomancer work different from the hacking system. Yeah, it's pretty annoying to learn. Now, I don't know if the earlier editions did it differently or did it better, because I did want to talk about this. I'm gonna bring this up when Tyler is back. Figure out if a different version of Shadowrun does this better and improves on it or not. All right, chat. Now it's your moment to ask any questions over here. Since Tyler walked away and my camera is dying. I pulled up my chummer in the background, and so to talk about some of the details. When you have stuff like you can buy a pair of goggles, right? And over here, I do have something called literally goggles rating free for $1,000, 1,000 million. That's like the core rulebook. And rating free means I can install like 3 different things on it. And I do have an image link. I got low light, which I think it's low light vision for that one. And I got flare compensation installed. So simply by having a pair of goggles with a flare compensation installed, I can ignore a bunch of the rules of like flashbang grenades and stuff like that try to discombobulate you.
Yeah. My wife ordered dinner. Apparently, I wondered who was knocking at the door.
Gotcha.
Those sorts of things beg the question: why have the flashbangs in the game to begin with? Then why not just have a short lore blurb of, oh, because technology advanced, that's why you won't really see these in the rulebook. They don't really get used, right?
Yeah, it's the thing
because
of you could use them, but nobody does. Because
if you make a cheap, readily available solution, and there's other solutions to that, like, well, make those goggles insanely expensive, make them forbidden availability, make them, really hard to find or something like that. Like if
Either
there's a
they're like
shortage on
super
them.
expensive to build or
Yeah.
to buy, or you have to be kind of smart to build them yourself. So you
Yeah, yeah.
give the players the choice between, and I guess this is like game design talk and less about lore of, right, because the game design informs the world. If everyone has
Yeah, yeah.
access to it, then why even use a flashbang? And the thing you said
Right,
about
yeah.
like, okay, use paintballs, shoot people with paint guns to blind
Yeah,
them
yeah.
instead.
If you want to blind them, and if everybody's wearing glasses or goggles, then all of a sudden you can
Yeah.
just shoot them in the face with a paintball gun, and then
And that
there
one
you
is pretty
go.
cool because you always have somebody with a character with a gun that's good at shooting. And we
Yep.
already have the rules for like different magazines and different ammunition to put
Hmm.
into magazines. And
Yep.
why not? You could just build that yourself. Take out
And
their
if you,
ocular vision, and now
yeah.
if they don't have drone surveillance and other software, like maybe AR
Mhm.
overlays might be able to help. If they don't have
Mhm.
them, they're screwed.
Yeah. And if you wanted it to still be indirect, they make, even today we've got, paintball grenades for paintball games. And so you can just chuck one of those in the room, sprays paint everywhere. Oh shit, the guy's got to take his goggles or his glasses off, and now he's just seeing through dumb vision. There you go. That could be a cool thing. So, like I said, a lot of it's table problems. A lot of it's, the people in the world are going to have the creativity that if it's a common enough problem, people are going to get creative.
And that's the problem for me is the book should address that. That's why
Yes.
Shadowrun is so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to run and play in that aspect of new players get pushed off because they run into the wall. They run like in Pathfinder. They run into the same pitfalls. Oh, I built my character slightly wrong. Now I'm just half as effective as the other guy who knew how to build characters. So you just don't have as much fun because all of the probabilities to succeed are so much worse for you compared to everybody else. You know, it's like,
Right.
well, you succeed almost all the time, and I fail almost all the time. I'm having a horrible time here. Even if the role
Right.
play is great, I'm still like being pissed. I'm pissed at the game, like at my in my seat, like fuck, man. I'm useless.
Right.
Uh,
Especially when the
yeah,
game told you, "Hey, you're going to be good at this thing," but somebody
yeah.
else is just better at it, right? That's where
Oh my god.
issue. Yeah.
The first character I built was a thief. I was a long finger, and I had the lockpick set. I didn't know maglocks existed that use a completely different tool that I did not have on my character sheet. So it's like, oh look, a keypad. Well, you're fucked. Yeah, because I have no idea. I didn't know. But then there's also a tool called a sequencer that you can buy a sequencer at a rating 5 for 1,500 million. And that one will just unlock things for you if you can clamp them on onto whatever you need them to.
Yep.
It's like, okay, why did
It,
I even build something that like can walk through doors if I can also
right.
just buy a gadget that does it for me?
Yeah,
So everybody
exactly.
has access to it.
That's the problem when there's too much overlap in things. Like the stream I did a week ago where Josh Sawyer is saying, especially with weapons in RPGs, you can look at a lot of stuff in Shadowrun where it's like, okay, here's a revolver. It does 7 damage. It has a reload rate of 1. It has and then there's this revolver. It costs 5 credits less, so basically the same.
Yeah.
It is the same weight, and it also does 7 damage, but it carries half as many rounds. And you're like, well, what? Why would I
Why?
ever use this then? What? Unless it's like all the gun shop happen to have, I guess. But there's some weird things like that where it's like, okay, more crunch is not better. It needs to be purposeful, or it needs to be solving a problem, like a more powerful revolver that holds less ammo, or a rifle that holds a lot of rounds but is super heavy or something, whatever it may be.
Or it could be something as simple as, well, this other revolver is like 30 years older. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
created like a Mark II later on. They refined the
yeah, yeah.
process. They managed to put in like 3 more bullets into the magazine because of things they took out inside of the gun. So they can have the same space but use more bullets. Stuff like that. Like
Right.
fun, cool stuff. Refining the process. Be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I can. If I use this older revolver, I can actually roleplay this like old-timey detective in his
Yeah, there you
50s.
go.
Like he's still
Yeah.
alive. Like I could get a new gun, but I'm so used to shooting with this one.
Yeah, and you could have like the that was actually a reason one of my wife's characters used a revolver, is because she had the attached drawback, and when people asked, it was like, well, that was that thing saved my life so many times, like why would I quit using it, right? It's proven itself.
And that's also a very fun concept for role playing games. Buying drawbacks for the purpose of getting karma. So you get
Yeah,
rewarded
yeah,
to customize your character further, and the drawback will influence your character in ways that allows you to roleplay, but also has mechanical consequences.
right, exactly. Like that's um because I hate to repeat it, but it is a role playing game, right? It's
Yep.
not just role playing. It's also not just a game. It's the synthesis of the two, right? So role play solves everything. Yeah, it does, but don't forget about that G hanging out there. We're not
Yeah.
role playing literally solved everything.
A
Well,
few, a
we
few,
wouldn't need mechanics at all, right?
and here's something that I still get weird looks for. Sadly, like nobody can see me now since the camera is off. Camera literally died on me. Like $300 Logitech Brio,
Gosh,
fucking
yeah.
5-year-old piece of hardware. So I got. I'm sorry, my throat is a bit. Give me a.
No, you're fine.
All
I've
right.
got to go eat dinner soon, so let's
Oh
let's
yeah,
leave
for
this as
sure,
our
for
let's
sure.
let's leave these as our final thoughts here.
So I wanted to bring up like a bit of character building, since this is a strong part of Shadowrun, of building. Build a bear, build your own character. I get weird looks of like, why are you using this negative quality called
Right.
too much data? I cannot control more than 3 drones at the same time. Like my car, my spy drone, and my combat drone. But I have a second spy drone. Well, if I use it, I'm gonna shut down my combat drone or my car. And I don't need to use that negative drawback. I could use something completely unrelated. But I think it's just so much more fun and more fitting for a rigger. A rigger that actually has a reason for this drawback of like, oh, this will influence his character. If I was a
Yeah.
hacker or a street sam, somebody else would never influence him. But I
Yeah,
could still just get free karma, and I hope I
it's
don't.
it's
Yeah.
lame when mechanics never show up. When you pick
Yes.
something and then it just never happens in the game. That's lame, right? Where it's like, oh well, shit. Why did I even pick it? You know, the guy is picking the classic one with Shadowrun is, I'm gonna take a severe allergy to like something you'll probably never see.
To the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. This.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
all right, man,
but you
sure.
play
What?
you play what, in fucking Oregon or something, like middle of America? It's
Like
like
Chicago,
Chicago.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm allergic to the ocean, so I moved here to
yeah,
Chicago. It's like,
yeah. I'm
yeah,
allergic to
that's
salt water. It's
yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah,
That's cool. That's cool for you.
yeah.
Uh, well, how do you feel about and I'm sorry for I will
No,
leave
you're
it
good.
on this. Like one of the features of Shadowrun is the sin of
Yeah,
having
yeah,
a rating system for this is who you are, and you always show this to the whole world, and you have lore implications of, yeah, you can turn it off, but if you do,
yep,
people think you're a criminal. or
Right.
they will judge you
Yeah.
for it. You cannot be in normal society with it turned off.
Right.
And 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 now it's suddenly valuable to be like, okay, you were born without a sin, or
Mhm.
the bureaucracy was like, yeah, we just never got around to you. Try again in 5 years. You try every
Yeah,
year,
right.
but you're an orc, or you get treated differently because of your background. You have all of these cool implications with the sin, and in the game it shows up like once every 5 sessions and barely any
Really?
consequence. All it breaks
And
down
that's
to is, did
interesting.
you forget to buy like a rating 4 level sin card or higher or not? And if you forgot, it's gonna bite you in the ass once every 10 sessions.
Because it was always really high tension anytime there my players or as a player you're walking into a place that's got one NPC that's good at his job and he's not just giving it the glance over of yep, looks good to me. He's
Yeah.
actually going, that hologram's not right. Let me go grab my pen. Let me and they're checking for the watermarks and you're going, shit, did I spend enough money? Did he roll high enough to like is this guy actually
Oh
going to
yeah.
find out I have a fake sin or not? That was happening like all the time. Either and it would inform where the characters thought they could go, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't have a good enough fake ID to get in there. I can get, yeah, we can go to fucking, McDonald's. We can go to where any random place on the street. I'm not breaking into a government building or or an as technology corporate headquarters. Like we're not going in there unless it's with real subterfuge and real intent to knock out some guards, chuck some smoke grenades. Like so, yeah, that's interesting that that's two different experiences.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Like, I'm trying to find the sin on my character sheet so I can reference it, but you would have stuff like it showed up because at one point we went to a public train station in the big city, and you cannot enter there unless you get your sin scanned. So the sin gets scanned, but then your body gets scanned, and I just have a shotgun in my arm. And
Yeah,
I
right.
was just like, fucked. It was a whole thing that was very frustrating to deal with. Like, well, how do I
Right.
get in there? Oh, we have
Well,
to
and
like do this armband thing, and it's like basically a seal that if you break it, you're basically instantly a criminal.
yeah, and it
It's
it
like,
it feels like most people haven't thought about just
it's like I
like
have a
think,
hidden shotgun,
you
but
know,
now it's
yeah,
useless
just
for being hidden.
yeah, just
Me-
like think about the real world, right? If you have implants and you're going
yeah,
through TSA security, they're gonna go, "Oh, do you have a hip implant or something?" Okay, well, we know you're gonna set off the metal detector. Come to the side. We're gonna pat you down. So it's like, well, okay, now you have an incentive to get good at lying or to have your face cover for you. Oh, yeah, he has an implant. It's just a prosthetic arm. Nothing unusual
yeah,
here, officer. And then the officer can
right.
go, oh, yeah, patch down. All right, no problem. We'll let you through. And then you get in for free, right? But
And
people
now I
always,
go ahead. Yeah,
that people always jump instead to this, like, well, why would I do this if there's these detectors everywhere? It's like, because there's people behind the detectors because there's anywhere that there is a person, there's somebody that you can lie to, there's somebody that you can bribe, there's somebody you can convince, right? Like, but that goes back to the thing I always say: role-playing games are it's a social hobby played by antisocial people. They never think about the human problem.
yeah, or it's the one they want to ignore because it's difficult for
Right.
them to deal with.
Yeah,
Hence
yeah.
why they play role playing games. It's like a safe setting to
Yeah, it
interact with
is.
people with.
It's the power fantasy in and of itself, right?
And that's the point of like when that happens or similar situation. After that, now I had to spend like 20,000 nuyen or even more of I have my fake sin rating for my fake name, but now
Mm.
I need additionally to that like my license as a bounty hunter and like
Hey,
my
yeah.
registration for a hidden gun And
Yeah,
my
you have to have a
fucking driver's
registration for this
license.
gun, registration for that
Yeah.
gun,
Oh man,
and then you
I
walk
didn't even
into
do that. I just have it like for a gun because I can't be fucking bothered to buy it for every single gun. Holy shit.
then you go into McDonald's and
Yeah.
they're like, oh well, we don't care that you have an as technology registration for that. We need you to. You're sitting there filling out paperwork like
Yeah,
this
you
is
need the
fucking stupid.
Walmart
I should have just left the guns
registration
in
if
the
you want to eat here. It's like,
right. And you're like, I should have just left the fucking guns in the car. And they're like, yup, that's kind of what we were hoping you would do.
how much of that is helping you to make the world feel more real? From like, oh yeah, it's super cool and interesting, this corporate oppression of my freedoms with all of these lies.
Right.
Like, you got a license for that, mate.
Yeah.
And the other side of it, this is fucking boring. I thought I'm a Shadowrunner and I can just kick people in the nuts when that
Yeah.
shows up.
There was that push back and forth, and it was always the like, you could always just not go there, right? Like, they're going to suggest, all right, well, we need you to fill out this form, and you're a Shadowrunner. Why don't you just say, fuck this, I'll just go next door?
Yeah.
Why don't you as the GM have a guy go, psst, hey, got a minute. I noticed that you're filling out a registration form for a few firearms. It doesn't take a fucking genius to guess. You looking for a job? And now you're a runner for McDonald's or whatever, and they let you have
Yeah.
special privileges on it. All just move with the flow. If you're actually playing out the scene of you filling out your NFA, forms for, all right, here's pistol 1, here's my monofilament sword, there's a form for that one. Here's
Yeah, it
there's
becomes
yeah.
those things always stopped roleplay dead in its tracks and turned into like character building simulation for 10 minutes of, oh, you
Right.
need to add this to your character sheet and
Yeah,
add that,
yeah.
which costs you 5,000 million. Do you have that money? Yes, no. It's like,
Right.
okay, let's just pretend you thought about this during character buildings. I give it for free or stuff like that. And it's just like, no, this is so lame.
Or assign to call on a contact or a connection, right?
Yeah.
There's when you go, hold on, let me just I'm pretty sure my friend's the manager here. Let me just call him, and they're like, yeah, he's cool. Whatever, let him in. But yeah, like I said, I would always use that as an opportunity to make up a quick job on the spot of like, you don't want to deal with all this bullshit. All right, could you go like clear out the homeless camp behind us, and then we'll look the other way?
Oh yeah. Shoot them away. Make sure they take their fentanyl at a different street corner.
Yeah, like, we can't deal with it, but if you guys went back there, then we might be persuaded.
Oh yeah.
And you have to be quick thinking on that sort of stuff, though, right? Like, if you're not thinking about it, definitely the first few games I played, I was not thinking about that kind of stuff, and it was just, ah, shit, we are just sitting here doing inventory management. And yeah, that's not the most interesting, right? Yeah.
One thing I like to do is every few sessions, it's, well, a month has passed, so pay your bills. It's bill paying time. Because
that's one of the reasons that you're shadow running is, man, I don't want to be a fucking wage slave to be able to pay rent. What's the point?
To give the viewers at home a point of reference, I'm looking up my Stumpfzahn character, and I got my improvements notes open. But, oh god, I have to find them. Yeah, there we go. So we got paid for our runs, and here is like some of our payments. Hey, good payments, $20,000. Pretty decent. $10,000, pretty decent. And then we have runs like, yeah, we get 5,000 million for the run, which is like 3,000 or something like that is my rent. That's just for living in the place.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have a dynamic of spending money, gaining money, and trying to survive the grind of the city trying to drag you down. And you have this dichotomy, and this is going to be the last topic, then I'll let you eat. This dichotomy of the street Sam, like gaining money and spending money, of trying to live life. Meanwhile, the wizard and the adept just collects karma every session. And you are dependent on the game master to make sure that the payment works for the street Sam, so he can get upgrades over time and have that power fantasy of like improving, getting better, like getting out of his situation.
Yeah.
Or the consequences, you play out the consequences of like it's a shitty system and that fucking sucks. Figure it out, bucko.
Yeah.
But
And
the adept, he just gets to become awesome with spending karma
Right.
because he gets karma every session. There's no drawback there. He doesn't pay karma for rent.
Right. And again, it's how you can tell most guys have not worked a blue collar job. They're paying for your car. They're paying for, you're working a company truck, or they're paying for repairs and gas, or even if you work a delivery job, right? If you work for Domino's Pizza, they're paying you on top of your hourly and tips. Oh, you're
Yeah.
driving a ton. You're gonna need, obviously you're gonna need money to keep your car running and to keep gas in. When I work maintenance, here's a tech stipend so you can buy tools, so you can buy. You are going to be, the corp is going to go, all right, you're all getting paid the flat amount, except for the street Sam, who obviously needs more money so he can do his fucking job, right? Like, we're going to figure a little bit. And if they're not doing that, well, get ready for another corp to poach him real quick. Hey, if you're good at your job, somebody's going to be out there thinking, I'm just going to pay that guy more, right? So, yeah.
It's an interesting thing because that never happens at our tables.
It never happens.
It's
No,
a flat payment for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you get 50,000. You figure out who gets how much. And
Right.
guess who's negotiating inside the team? It's the street Sam with his 9 strength or something bullshit. Like
Yeah.
strong arming everybody
Yeah.
and
Listen,
stuff like.
you're gonna give me the lion's share. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a problem. If I didn't have the 20,000 for this cyber arm, would we be alive right now? And usually the rest of the group goes, he's got a point.
Yeah, but the thing we do, and it's a good point for like game masters at home that try to run Shadowrun games, to have leniency not for the NPC but for the players to push back of, hey man, like we bringing hardware, doing dangerous missions of, we can do some payment up front, or okay, if you need anything done to your car to like travel this far, you have 5,000 million like spending account for anything of like legit auto repair places you can go to for like tune-ups and stuff like that. Or even stuff like here's like a cred stick, spend it however you want.
Yeah, a company card basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And it can be a blank thing too, like famous of like the burner stick that you just send them. It's like you need something to get up and running and do your legwork right now because you might missing some materials for the area or region to fit in. Like maybe people literally need to buy a suit so they can be on corporate grounds doing espionage. And they literally like scraping by the bottom of the barrel. It's like, yeah, here's your 2,000 million spending account. Figure it out. And allowing the players, especially like the face, to negotiate and give them something to have fun negotiating over and doing the bit of bothering, because the face often gets overlooked as an archetype.
yeah.
A lot of my characters is like I do a job, and then I figure out if I want my character to be able to talk to people or not. So
right.
so that's either it's my second job or I'm just like an absolute douchebag, gremlin,
Yeah.
giga nerd.
Yeah. It's always funny. But yeah, good chat, good talking with you.
Yeah, was fun.
Glad you had me on. Sorry I have to jet all of a sudden. My wife's been bugging me to get off it. So
She's right. I've been holding you hostage.
yeah,
Right.
we've been doing this for a couple hours now. It's a good link to stream. Thank you guys for watching. Good comments over there. Hopefully you found any of our rambling interesting or compelling. Leave your angry anti Shadowrun, anti Pathfinder hate comments down below.
Absolutely. And maybe we can even get a Shadowrun role-playing session going at some point.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, I'm still interested. It's mostly just like, it feels like a behemoth of trying to induct new people into a system that's just not that easy to learn.
No,
So-
God, no. Like it probably took, like when I said I learned it from a guy in Seattle, that wasn't like one sit down. It felt like you did like 3 session zeros just to learn the setting, then to learn the system, then to
And
learn
then to
your
learn
character.
Chummer. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We didn't even... If you don't play with Chummer, what are you doing? Why do you hate
I
yourself?
do not know how, yeah, the fact that game released and then Chummer had to come out after the fact is like I'm excited in the world of VTTs, not for battle maps but for automation. I think it'll allow a lot of these really compelling game systems to be a lot more digestible and a lot
Yes.
more role playable.
Yes, using the systems to actually help the role play by
Right.
alleviating the burden of some of the weird number
Yeah,
crunch, like
yeah.
initiative changing order based on
Oof,
whether or not
yeah.
you try to parry an attack, getting
Yeah.
a -5 to your...
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Waiting and dropping it. Yeah, that is rolling initiative is one of the big bugbears of.
I try to do it with pencil and paper, and every time it's like we still do a mistake, and somebody just like, well, that's not right. And like, yeah,
Like, wait a minute, did he just go twice? And then you're like, fuck, did he? I don't know at this point.
Like, man, I still have a turn. Why are you skipping me? I
Yup.
told my game master at least 3 different locations, like, what the fuck? Why are you skipping me all the time?
And just something got written down weird, and
Yeah.
no, it's
He just forgot, literally.
right. Yeah, it's always an
All right.
issue.
And with that, we wrap up show. It's Inside Roleplay with Flame Zombie. Check out his channel. It's the name is literally on the screen title. Type in Flame Zombie. I'll put
Sure
him in the
is.
description. And yeah, bit different show, bit more free flowing. My camera dies, but there we go. That's life. Now I finally have a reason to buy like $600 real camera and set it
Oh
on
my
its own
gosh,
stuff.
yeah.
Be like, yeah, just be an absolute gremlin nerd about it again.
Right.
Okay, I let you go. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.
Goodbye.
I'll see you guys.